Liberia. Well, non-U.S. made. Non-U.S. mint. Well, I happen to pick up a few odds and ends that are of interest here. These come from a variety of different mints. The earliest series, of course, that I have. Apparently, there's some more like this from 1896 and some more denominations. Now, this is hard to see because it's very chocolatey, but there we go. Republic of Liberia. And if you look under that neck, behind that star, so to speak, there's a little tiny H. That's the mint mark. And that's a 1 cent. 1906. Okay. And then I also made a 1 cent. And likewise, this is also very chocolate brown, very difficult to see. But this is the 2 cents. 1906. Wow, very old design they've had. The palm tree, the sailing ship, the sun. The next denomination up they had at that time, however, was the 10 cent. This, however, as you can see, is in a very beautiful high grade. There you go, 10 cents, 1906. Aha, very interesting design. Now, the next time anybody made any coins for them was 1937. Now, perhaps you will note that these sizes are echoed in some of the first coins that the U.S. made in 1941 for Liberia. So this is the half cent. See, 1/2 cent, 1937. And then here's the 1 cent from 1937. It's actually a fairly nice one. The 1 cent from this era seems to be really hard. Although in this case, it's the 2 cent I have that's rather crappy looking, but there it is from 1937. Anyway, then the U.S. takes over first in 1941. We make the same 3 coins. And again, the 1 cent's the one that's really hard to find. And the U.S. continued making more coins in 1960, 61, 62. But because of the coin shortage, when they needed more coins in 1966, somebody else had to make their coins in 1966. By this time, of course, they are no longer making them out of silver, just copper nickel of some sort. At least that's a very pretty specimen. Okay, that one. There's a $50. They were a little bit thicker, though, than they would come to be later on when they're made in 1968, both in the U.S. and otherwise. Since I have another series that talks about the coins that the U.S. Mint has made, this set excludes those, and it's basically everything else. In 1968, while the United States was making a proof 1 cent for Liberia, London was making this circulation strike for Liberia. Okay, nobody was making a 2 cent. That was that was gone. The 5 cent hadn't been introduced yet. And the 10 cent, apparently whatever was made in 66 seemed to be enough. When it came to the 25 cent, we made our own 25 cent in Denver. And then about 20 years later, see, this is a 1988 restrike, they still gave it that date. As you remember, when the C is next to that leaf instead of between a couple of leaves, that's a clear indication that your 1968 Liberian 25 cent is not made in 1968. And consistent with that, and probably made at the same place, were some more 50 cent and $1, also dated 1968. As far as I know, these seem to be struck in London. But the United States was finally coming out of its coin crunch, and people started making coins, so there was no need for anybody else. And they made coins until 1976. So, 1976, the Royal Mint of London took over again. They made a proof set consisting of everything, and then they made some circulation coins. And sort of like how we had different circulation coins coming out in different years. The 25 cent in 68, nothing in 69, the 10 cent and the $1 in 1970, nothing in 71, the 1 cent and the 5 cent in 72, the 25 cent again and the 50 cent in 1973, nothing in 74, and then everything in 75. And how it was kind of flaky like that. Well, it's kind of the same thing. The proof set has all the denominations they're considering real, and the non-proofs are only the ones that they're putting in circulation. So for 1976, they did the higher denominations, the 25 cent, the 50 cent, and the dollar. And then 1977, they have the proof set with all denominations, but only the 1 cent, the 5 cent, and the 10 cent are made for circulation. So let's take a look at these coins here. 76, 1 cent proof. But it's a very beautiful proof. 1976. Okay. All right. Whoops. Then 25 cent. Both as proof. Okay. And as a business strike. For some reason that seems to be easy to find. Whereas, the 50 cent is the same. It's the proof. If you find the set, you got the set, I suppose. But the circulation strike seems to be very difficult. It's a really crappy specimen. People, again, didn't bother to collect a circulation strike because, they're not even complete. So you only got some denominations, so why bother? You got the proofs. So that means a really nice high-grade circulation strike is actually the thing to look for. Fortunately, this dollar seems to be not too bad a shape. 77, now we have the same thing, only now the lower denomination. So here's our 1 cent. Okay, and then there's the 1 cent circulation strike. Okay, here's the 5 cent proof. The 5 cent circulation strike. Fortunately, I've been able to find some high-grade examples of, most of these coins. And here's the 10 cent proof. The 10 cent circulation strike. And then for the higher denominations, proof only. Here's the 25 cent proof. Grow more food. It has a big grow more food push. If we just grew more food, people wouldn't go hungry. Well, nice try. I don't know that it worked. Alright, here's the dollar. Self-reliance. Okay. In 1978, however, the Franklin Mint took over making the coins for Liberia, and this time they only made proofs. And once again, they turn around this way. The F mint mark is kind of hard to find. It's right there, kind of halfway up between the horizontal line there and the horizontal line where the sun is rising. It's very small, but that's the F mint mark. And they made a 2 cent. They're the Franklin Mint. They'll make anything they have, even the lamest excuse to make. The F. Yeah. In this case, it's kind of a little lower, kind of near that plant in the ground, but stuck in the same corner. Regular 5 cent. There's a 1 cent. Okay, 10 cent. Just 1978. Looks like a messy dot, but it's actually the F mint mark. Alright. And you notice now they have continued the same designs that the London Mint introduced. Okay, here now under the 2 of the 25 near the circle, there's the mint mark there. 50 cent. It should be easy to find it there. The love of liberty brought us here. 50 cents. Okay. $1978. Then for 79, they made another proof set in a much smaller mintage. The 78 was like 8,000 of sets or something. 79 was like less than 2,000 sets. They actually have some writing somewhere on the edge, I think. If I can find it. I doubt it, but it's just, maybe I'll get lucky. Well, it is there, but I can't read it. Anyway, it had something etched on the edge, which made it somewhat more valuable. Mint mark is still in the same place, 79. And once again, they made a 2 cent piece. And then they made the 5 cent piece. And a 10 cent. And 25. Keep growing that food, guys. And 50 cents. And the dollar. They also made the $5 coins, which I, for these years as well, 6, 7, 8, and 9. I didn't get those. Now, that would have been the end, except as we know, they did the coin set of all nations, not to be confused with coins of the realm. And in that, they were getting these little sample coins from all these different countries. But when it came to Liberia about that time frame, Liberia wasn't making any little coins anymore, but they said, well, we can make that for you. So they did. Now, they have some of them dated 1983. I don't have the 1983s, but other than the date, they're the same as these 84s that I do have. So there is the Liberia number 4. I would have to categorize that as Mate because they wanted to make it kind of match whatever circulation coins they did have for the year. And then 5 cent. Yeah, like I said, they're the same except for the date. And the 10 cent. And that's what they made here. So that's Liberia. That's the Liberian coins from the Franklin Mint, also the London Mint, and other mints going back for all this the 20th century. So it's kind of neat. Franklin Mint had a roll, but only something of a roll. Oh, I do have one more thing to bring in. Yes. And that is the proof sets. And here at least we can see the bigger coins. Alright. Here we go. This is the 1976 set. There they all are. And there we go. At least we do get to see the $5 silver coin. It continues with the same design as it had for the 73 Forward 5 that the United States Mint made, this big $5 silver coin for Liberia. And then that's 76. 77. Same ball of worms. Okay. Then, like I said, I started 78 with the Franklin Mint version. Now, Franklin Mint decided to do it the other way around. Instead of showing the fronts of the coins, they showed the backs. So when you first pull it out of the box, but there it all is again, only now with a little F mint mark everywhere. And it turns around this way. Alright. Finally, 1979. That's beautifully preserved, that one. Okay. That finishes out Franklin Mint for Liberia.